Hey everybody. As you can tell, I'm just kind of doing this whenever I can get a chance. But this video I wanted to kind of talk about what I did for the CASPA and the application process. So I I went through every single physician assistant school that was on the CASPA. I did not take the GRE. I did not take OChem or biochem. That was not in the timeline that I needed because of my family situation, having 3 kids, and starting to at least provide for them better than what I was doing cardiac ultrasounds. So I went through every one. It was a long process. I stayed up some nights till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then if as soon as I saw whatever application they or the requirements that they had, if I didn't have it, I just moved on real quick. Now I applied again 2 years in a row, and I applied to 14 or 15 schools each time. Some things that I wish I would have known is what's called the is what's called, sorry, the kids are in the background, what's called a rolling admission. Some schools, they have their date that they open up, and then as soon as they get the interviews and they find the students that they want, they close it, and then that's it. It doesn't matter even if you apply after. As soon as those seats are filled, it's done. The other thing is that some of them have what's called a deadline. So, like the UVU, they require that you have at least they did when I applied, the date that you have to have everything submitted into CASPA, letter of recommendations, your GRE, your whatever it is that you need to apply to those schools, then that's what the deadline is. The other thing, when I was looking at schools retrospectively now, is clinical rotations. It's kind of a big one. My school, they had all of the clinical rotations set up. I didn't have to find any preceptors. I did because I knew people here in Utah that I gained a good relationship with, and they were so willing to let me follow them, and messed up probably a lot. And if you guys are watching this, thanks again. I appreciate it more than anything you know. The other thing to look at is cost. I know that's variable, but I'll do another video about loans and things like that. I've met PA students, or not students, but other physician assistants that I work with in different fields, that went to different schools. For example, one of them, he was an orthopedic surgical physician assistant. He went to Duke. I mean, Duke's number 5, and it's in the top 5 every year as far as ranking goes. I don't know his pay scale or anything like that. I mean, ortho, I know, makes a little bit more than cardiology, I think, but at least where I work, I think it's pretty much across the board the same. So the only difference between him and me that I saw was our student debt. I came out with about $150,000 of student debt by the time I was done. And he was a year ahead of me as far as graduating, and he just broke the 200 mark. Now, this was 3 years ago, almost 2 years ago, almost. So you got to kind of take that into perspective. I mean, I came out with less debt, or making about the same, and he's $50,000 more in debt. That is significant when it comes to that. I don't know. There's not a lot of people that I've talked to that they're like, oh, well, he went to Duke and he went to the U, or I went to King's College or whatever. They don't look at that. They look at how you are as a person and your competency, and if you've passed your test, because we all have the same title at the end of the day. And I'm sorry if I'm stepping on people's shoes, but that's just my perspective. So the other thing to look at is the time. My school, I had 10 and a half months of didactic. No, yeah, 10 and a half months of didactic. So I had everything crammed as far as what I needed to do with book work in 10 and a half months. My first semester, I had 10 finals in 5 days. I kid you not, that was horrific. It was nice because then they did 13 and a half months of rotation. So my entire program was 2 years. Again, this is King's College. I know up at the U they have a 27-month program. I'm pretty sure at Rocky Mountain it's a 3-year program, just because it is a huge amount of information. So that's the other thing to consider. What's the other thing I was looking at, or that I was thinking about? Loans, clinical rotations. The big thing also is the PANSI, but in the end, honestly, the PANSI is just kind of a test that just says, look, can you pass it? Are you competent enough as the person at Duke or the U or Iowa or whatever? Can you pass the same test as those people and as at your school? There are a ton of resources out there for you to be able to do it. There was a week-long program that my school paid for. It was part of our tuition. That was very, very helpful. I bought then 3 other books, and I passed it first try. I mean, now granted, I had some type of advantage because I did cardiology for 3.5 years, and that was very heavily weighted in the PANSI. It was 25% or 24%. I didn't study very hard for it because I already had a really good knowledge and background in it. But still, I passed it flying colors. I don't know what I got. I just know that I passed it. And at the end of the day, I have the certification or whatever the title at the end. So if you guys have any questions, I know that this is a really scary moment for everybody. You're super nervous about it. I mean, you got your letter of recommendations, you've got your GRE, you've got your personal statement, you have all this stuff that's just overwhelming. Personal statement, it is so odd because all you're trying to do is persuade the person, and you don't know who they are. I don't know who read my personal statement because I talked about fishing. I love fishing. It's wonderful. It's one of my things that I just do to get away from life. And I talked about fishing, and for some reason that connected with a person that read it, and they gave me an interview at King's College. I did not even get an interview anywhere else. Well, except Loma Linda, but I didn't get accepted. Not even the U, and not anywhere else, nowhere. I only got 2 interviews that year, and I only got 1 interview the year before. But yeah, the personal statement it's like a persuasive essay. I have a friend that got in his first try to the U, and his background was in he was a snowboarder, and he was sponsored. I mean, he did it for a living for a long time, and that's what he did. And when I read his essay, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is phenomenal. And he got in first try up at the University of Utah. The other people that I've read and talked to about it really is a persuasive essay of why you think you should be accepted into their school. This video is a little bit longer than most, but I just want everybody to understand that just because of that, wherever you apply, if you do not get in this year, contact the schools that you really want to get into, and find out why. Find out if it was your persuasive essay, what you can change. Don't give up. I have another friend that he applied 3 separate times to schools, and he's now accepted, and he's starting in August. I know who you are. If you're watching this, dude, have at it, man. Get going back to the grindstone. But anyways, I hope this helps. Leave any comments, any questions that you guys have. I'll answer them the best that I can, and I will talk to you guys soon. Good luck. Don't fret. Don't lose sleep, but definitely work hard. See ya.